Hello, I want to welcome you all to the program. And my name is Kim Jones, a professor here in the School of Social Work. Hope to see you in class at some point during your education here. I've been a social worker for over 30 years now. Kind of hard to believe. And I've been asked to talk about professionalism. What does that mean? And let's look at a definition. The conduct, aims, or qualities that characterize or make a profession or a professional person. I was thinking about some of the things that I've found important over the years, qualities, if you will, that go into becoming a professional. And I would say that there's a reason why the very first competency in our program is that of being ethical and demonstrating professionalism. That's the very first competency. If you have that, everything sort of builds on that. I often look at it as having two hats. One is the personal hat, one is the professional. When your personal hat is on, you're with your family, you're with your friends, you're acting very differently than when the professional hat is on. When the professional hat is on, all the qualities that I'm going to talk about should be sort of present. First one is work ethic. Work ethic means showing up on time, and meeting deadlines. I've known several colleagues and students over the years that either don't show up in time, or they miss deadlines. And so if you have those three qualities, you're already sort of a step up, a step ahead. Interpersonal skills comes to mind also. Self-regulation is an extremely important one. You're going to have clients and colleagues over the years that push your buttons, and some more than others. And when those buttons are pressed, you're going to get frustrated, annoyed, angry, irritated. And you have to keep all of those emotions in check when that professional hat is on. Being self-aware it sort of goes hand in hand, I think, with self-regulation, knowing what buttons you have, knowing when they're being pressed, being receptive to feedback. This is a really important one. The reason they call it a professional practice is because every day we're practicing to be better. We're not looking for perfection. We're looking for progress. Every client you see should be an opportunity to learn something new, to carry that learning forward to the next client. So don't feel like you have to know it all. In this profession, one of the things I like about it is you cannot possibly know it all. There's always something to learn. Models and technology have changed tremendously since I started in the profession. And you're always learning. You're always learning something new. So be receptive to feedback. Don't feel like you have to have it all down. Stress management is also a very, very important part of professionalism. Self-care. If you don't take care of yourself and learn to manage stress, you're gonna spill over that personal hat. You're gonna have it on when you're supposed to have the professional hat on, and that's not a good thing. That's what's called keeping boundaries, keeping boundaries between your personal life and your professional life, keeping boundaries with your clients. Boundary management is always an important part of being a professional. Demeanor and dress is another very important one. Business casual, seems to be the words of the day. So, a good thing to sort of do is, take a look at how others are dressing in the setting that you're going to be in. For example, when I got my first job as a therapist at Family Service in Cincinnati, way back in the day, one of the first things I did was try to look at how are other therapists dressing. What are they wearing? Try to then sort of correspond in some ways with that style of dress in terms of how people are dressing. Most of the time nowadays, like I said, it's business casual. So you don't want to under or overshoot that. You want to sort of meet it in the middle, but dress appropriately, clean clothes, and look presentable. That's a part of being a professional. Every profession in some ways has their own uniform. If you go to the doctor's office, the nurses, so forth, have uniforms they wear. Our uniform is also that. You want to create an impression with those you work with and your clients, an impression that you are a professional, that you know what you're doing. So looks are important in terms of how you dress. Having a positive attitude, showing respect to others at all times. Like I said, no matter if your buttons are being pressed or not, showing respect at all times is a part of being a professional, having that professional hat on. Say skills and knowledge base is also another component of professionalism. Knowing what you're doing and why you're doing it. This sounds pretty simple, but you are entering a field that is in some ways very specialized. There's a knowledge base that you should, that you are learning, that you will be learning. And so whenever I'm sitting with a client, I'm using that knowledge base to inform what I'm doing in the helping process. It's a directional sort of thing. I'm relying on theories and models to inform my approach with the client. That's a professional. That's not just talking to anybody about your problems. That's talking to someone who's been trained to deal with your problems in certain ways. The keep learning aspect, I've already sort of covered that. And the idea that this is a practice to keep practicing, and we're not looking for perfection again, we're looking for progress. I would say another aspect of professionalism is written and oral communication. I've certainly over the years seen problem situations with this, especially now that we communicate a lot through technology. You want to check your emails before you send them. Check the spelling, check the grammar, check the language, and never send an email when you're mad. This is an important one. If you're really upset about something, you might want to construct the email, but don't send it. Wait until you've cooled off. Wait until you've calmed down, and then go back and reread that email. And I do this, when I'm upset about something, and I write an email. If I go back to it, an hour or two later, even, I always change it because I find language that was heated, and you don't want to put people on the defense. You don't want to come across defensive. Again, you want to show respect, and you want to be a problem solver. Odds are, if you're upset about something, there's something that needs to be dealt with. And so don't get yourself in the way of that. So go back to that email and look at it and try to imagine what it would be like to receive that email. You want to remain, again, professional and objective. So written and oral communication is extremely important. Part of that self-awareness is important. You don't want to verbally come across angry and defensive when you're in a professional setting. So you want to keep calm, you want to keep cool, you want to say what you need to say to be able to solve the problem that you're encountering. And so I would say, all those things are important that go into being a professional. You will learn these things as you're moving through our program, and you'll certainly learn them as you graduate. I do want to stress that you start practicing them now. You are in our program, and so you represent yourself as a student in the School of Social Work. So when you send emails to each other, Practice professionalism. Certainly when you send emails to your professors, practice professionalism. Believe me, I've seen some very non-professional emails sent by some pretty upset students. And a lot of the times I'll contact that student and I'll say, let's give this another try. I want you to construct another email that goes from a 10 to maybe a 3 on the scale of heatedness. And it's a very good learning experience for the student. So just keep that in mind, that when you're in our program, when you're interacting with fellow students, when you're sending emails, when you're interacting with our professors, with our support staff, our administrative staff, our field coordinators, when you're interacting with all of them, try to keep in mind that, try to keep that professional hat on, because it offers you an opportunity to practice that and to become the professional that you're going to become. I would say this is probably one of the most important skills that you will learn while in our program, and that's why it's the very first competency. Your career can be very much affected negatively if you don't have these qualities. You could be the best skilled, knowledgeable social worker out there, but if you don't have these qualities I'm talking about, it's going to be very difficult for you. If you have them, you're going to set yourself apart from those who don't, and that'll make you much more competitive in terms of getting jobs and getting advances. So start this right now. Start acting like a professional, both in the classroom settings and certainly in the field setting. That's where you're really gonna, learn a lot in terms of professionalism. You'll also see some bad examples when you're in the field. You'll see good examples. A lot of my learning has been through both good and bad examples. People doing things that I think aren't good. I say to myself, okay, I'm going to try not to do that. Or if I see someone doing something that is very professional and very effective, I think, no, that's something I want to try more of. So keep that in mind. Watch out. Keep your eyes peeled for examples of good professionalism that you can learn from your fellow students, the people you'll be with in the internship, your field instructor, your liaison. Be on the lookout for these things, and keep that as a very, very important goal as you become professionalized in this next year or two. So I wish you luck, and I hope to see you in a class. Thank you.